I'm excited to bring to you this evening some exciting and new information, which has taken me 8 or 9 years to put together and collaborate. And this is the very first time that I'm releasing it to the public, which I'm extremely excited about. I know there's a lot of people listening today that have been following me or that I work with personally. And some of the stuff that I go through today, some you'll know, some you'll do, and some will be new to you. But as we get started, I just want to share with you a bit of a story. Once upon a time, there was this teenage boy, and those that know me know that I love to tell stories. I think that we learn so effectively through metaphor. Once upon a time, there's this teenage boy, and this teenage boy grew up in a really rough area, and he got involved with the wrong crowd, and next thing you know, he's out partying and drinking and smoking pot and marijuana, and next thing you know, he, at the age of 15, just before his 16th birthday, he got into an argument with his mum, and his mum kicked him out. And so then what he did is he went and stayed with his friend. And when he went out and stayed with his friend, next thing you know, he had exhausted all of the avenues he had to stay with friends. Then he exhausted all his avenues to stay at hostels, and then that left him literally nowhere to sleep, nowhere to live, nowhere to stay. So within 6 months, he was living on the streets and literally sleeping on park benches. Sleeping on park benches or anywhere that he could find. Anyway, he stopped associating with the people that he grew up with through high school and started to mingle with a new crowd. And this new crowd was heavily involved in much harder drugs, namely heroin. Next thing you know, this teenage boy had a heroin addiction habit of around $1,000 a day. Can you imagine that? $1,000 a day habit. And where do you think this teenage boy gained enough money to cover his habit? Where do you think he got that from? That's right, he did crime. He stole, he cheated, he lied, he did everything he could to earn enough money or to make or steal enough money to cover his addiction. Next thing you know, this teenage boy and his partner, they overdosed. They overdosed on heroin and they almost died. And do you think that that was a big enough learning lesson for that teenage boy to stop? Of course not. Next thing you know, only a few weeks later, he did it again. He overdosed again. And he almost died. And again, he didn't get the learnings. Anyway, a few months went by and he continued with his ways. And this time, on the third time that he overdosed, he was clinically dead. He was rushed to hospital and clinically dead for 3 minutes. When he came to the next day, he realized that this was the opportunity he had in his life where he had to make a decision. If he had to continue down the way that he was, down the path that he was, then he was going to end up dead or in prison. And he knew, and just like most people, as you listen to me, you just have that sense, that feeling that you're meant to do something great. And he knew that he wasn't on track for achieving the things that he wanted to. And anyway, he had nowhere to stay. He had nothing but the clothes on his back. Who do you think he called? That's right, he called his mum. He called his mum and asked if he could stay with her. And he got out of the hospital, went and stayed with her. It was a bit of a country town. It was further out of the city in Perth. And anyway, 2 days went by and it wasn't too bad. And next thing you know, on the third day, he started getting the cold shakes and the shivers. And I don't know if you've seen it in like the movies. That's no exaggeration, guys. Next thing you know, his mum offered him some Valium just to ease the pain. And so he took a couple of Valium, but then it wasn't enough. So what he did is he snuck into his mum's room and took the whole bottle, 50 Valium. Now, people have overdosed and died from less than that. He took 50 Valium, and next thing you know, he went ballistic. He had no idea what he was doing consciously. He picked up a barbell and started smashing up neighbors' houses and cars and bins. And then he found this axe, and he picked up this axe, and he started chopping vigorously at a tree. He started aggressively chopping down this tree, and then the door opens, and out comes his mum's husband at the time, technically his stepdad, and he comes out. And he wants to shoot the teenage boy with a shotgun. And the teenage boy, not thinking, sees them, looks at them, and what do you think he does? He charges straight at them with an axe. The mum pulls the husband inside just before he wants to shoot him, and just as they slam shut the door, the teenage boy goes to chop down the door with the axe and then looks to his left. And as he looks to the left, he sees his 2 younger sisters with their faces pressed up against the glass, in tears because they've been watching the whole time, scared, but also because they see their older brother, their bigger brother, not really with it. The teenage boy falls to his knees, drops the axe, comes to, becomes consciously aware of what he's doing, and he puts his face into his palms and then looks back up at his sisters and shakes his head and realizes that right now is the only power that he has, that if he's not happy completely with his life, that he's at a crossroads. He can continue down the path of destruction in which he was currently, or he could make the necessary changes in his life to make a difference. Anyway, what happened is the police came along and took him away, and this teenage boy spent 3 nights in lockup. And if you haven't already worked this out, this teenage boy was me. Obviously some time ago, about 14 years ago now. And anyway, he spent 3 nights in lockup, which is enough time for him to go through cold turkey and get the heroin, the bulk of it, out of his system. It comes out of his system pretty quickly. And when he got kicked out, he literally got kicked out and he had nowhere to stay. And so he went to a park bench and he borrowed a couple of dollars. He bummed a couple of dollars, I bummed a couple of dollars, and sat on a park bench for the next few days, planning out just the next 6 months of my life, because I knew that if I could just get through the next 6 months, the rest wouldn't be so bad. I made a list of everything I needed to do. Get a job, find somewhere to stay, of course, first of all, and so forth. Next thing I know, I became a qualified personal trainer. And for those of you know the rest of my story, that's great. If you don't yet, then I'm happy to share that with you down the track. I've had the opportunity to really run successful businesses and build them to 7 figures. I've had the opportunity to work with over 5,000 individuals on so many different levels, everything from overcoming fears and phobias to losing weight, to business coaching and helping people become millionaires and create 7-figure businesses, and everything in between. And I share this with you because I think that we all have that story. And if you have the courage to share your story, to inspire others and use it to live a fulfilling life, it's amazing what you can do. Life is so short. And tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing with you a whole heap of strategies, mental strategies, that you can use in any area of your life, whether it be relationships, finances, business, any context, any area, weight loss, that you can take. And I'm even going to give you, if it's okay with yourself, a couple of cool tips and some specific strategies that you can use, a couple of exercises you can use from here on forth if you choose to. Okay? So it's kind of like the mind is like a parachute. The mind is like a parachute. It only works when, a parachute only works when it's open, right? So how do we learn? We learn through experience, somebody else's or our own. Which way is faster? Which way is easier? Probably somebody else's. We all make mistakes. I'm no better than anyone else. I've just made a lot more mistakes. And I'm going to share with you some of those mistakes and those learnings this evening, and how I dealt with and overcome my demons, and how I turned them into successes, and then share my story to inspire others and their success as well. One of the things on my bucket list is I had the opportunity to see Tony Robbins live, the most successful, I believe, motivational speaker of all time, even though that he doesn't refer to himself as a motivational speaker. And in that seminar, he said something really fascinating. It really fascinated me. He said, you know what there's 2 extremely toxic and the 2 most dangerous words in the English language are. And I was like, I wonder what they are. What are, that's interesting. What harmful words are they? And he said, you know what he said? He said, they are I know. In the context of learning, the 2 most dangerous words are the words I know, because whenever we say I know to something that we hear, even if it's something we've heard before, what we do is we cut ourselves off to further learnings that we might otherwise get. And for those of you that have heard some of this information before, no one in this webinar has definitely heard it all packaged like this together. Those of you that have heard some of this stuff, every time you hear this, every time you teach this, you have new learnings. Every time I deliver this information or deliver like or similar information, I have new learnings. So anytime that you hear a little voice inside your head for the next hour or so that says, I know, I just want you to put that aside, and instead I just want you to reframe that and say, isn't that interesting? It's kind of like, we both sipping a glass of wine. You have your glass of wine and I have mine. You're sipping, say, I don't know, a Chardonnay, I've been SSB. If wine's not your drink of choice, then it might be something else. And I want to extend to you an invitation to have a sip of my wine. Now, if we combine our wines together, you're not going to get a true taste of the essence of my wine, or how delicious my wine actually is. So just for the next hour, I'm going to invite you to put your wine down aside, just put it down for the moment, and have a sip of my wine. And if you like this wine, then what you can do is you can continue to drink this wine, and if not, you can go back to drinking your old wine. That's totally up to you. I think it's really important moving forward that we understand our intention in anything that we're doing in life, because if we don't know what or why we want it, one, we're not going to have the drive or the motivation to achieve it. 2, if we don't know what we want, we're on default, we're hoping for the best. How the hell do we know what we want? How the hell are we going to achieve what we don't know what it is? So I just want you to take a moment, if you don't yet have a pen and paper, I just want you to grab a pen and paper. As you grab your pen and paper and get comfortable, I am just going to suggest that the way we learn is through our 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, etc. Now, when we engage our 5 senses and we engage our neurology, we remember it so much more clearly. So in order for you to remember at the neurological, at the deeper level, what we go through this evening, I am going to invite you to get involved, okay? And if you allow your mind to open and become like a sponge and absorb the information, and sip on the wine and choose to use it from here on in, I guarantee you're going to notice some very fast changes over the next few weeks, especially in the results that you get in different areas of your life. Okay, so what I want you to do is take the next 10 seconds just to write down what is your intention. Why are you here this evening? My intention this evening is to give you some specific tools and resources that you can begin to utilize mentally and psychologically to help you fast-track results in any area of your life, to overcome any self-sabotage, to stop procrastinating, to motivate yourself, drive yourself to take the action necessary, to get excited about the smaller things in life and be grateful for what you have. My intention is to share with you specific strategies to begin to do that from tonight on in. So just take the next 10 seconds. What are you here for? What do you want to get out of the next hour? And just write that down for me. Now, if you haven't yet done that, look, it makes no difference to me. You're only cheating yourself. If you're sitting there going, ha, Jason won't know if I've written it or not, then that's fine. It makes no difference to me. It makes a difference to you. You're only cheating yourself. And if you haven't yet written it down, then you're really not going to get the most out of this webinar, and you might as well leave the webinar now. If you truly are committed, to making the most out of the next hour, you're here, you may as well give 100%. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you truly are committed, then you'll do each of these exercises. Very simple, and you're going to learn more about yourself in the next hour than probably the last month, maybe even more. Okay, so now that we've gone through our intention, I just want you to take a moment to take a big deep breath in and breathe out, and I want you to get nice and comfortable as we move on. So becoming an athlete of the mind, what exactly does that mean? Well, have you ever used supplements? I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of supplements, and I know that there's personal trainers and fitness professionals in this webinar. There's business professionals from other industries. There's people with everyday jobs. There's people people looking for jobs, people looking at starting to create a business, and everyone and everything in between. So most people that are in this webinar probably have used some supplements before. Now I think that if we use the word additionals instead of supplements, that we can gain more from them. How do you know when you're out of shape? How do you know when you're out of shape mentally? Because when you're out of shape physically, you look in the mirror and go, oh, I need to get to the gym, right? And how do you know when your energy levels are low? How do you know? You can feel it. You can feel my energy levels are low. I need to eat better. I need to alkalize and energize. I need to detox. But my question to you is, how do you know if you're mentally out of shape? I'm not saying that you are, but how would you know if you were? How would you know if you're mentally out of shape? And that's what we're going to begin to uncover and unfold tonight. I mean, have you ever felt stressed? Have you ever felt overwhelmed? You felt tired, procrastinated, or unmotivated? Of course, right? We're only human. Have you ever wondered why you feel stressed? Have you ever wondered why you feel stressed? It's because of what you're focusing on. You're focusing on an area that you don't want to be focusing on. If you're feeling stressed in an area, then we know that that's an action signal to switch our focus, and I'm going to talk more about that shortly. If you ever feel overwhelmed in any area of your life, in any context, all that means is generally we're not organized. We don't have a specific plan. We haven't organized, automated, or leveraged our systems, whether it be in life, whether it be in business. If you're feeling tired, it could be a combination of sleep, it could be a combination of hydration, it could be a combination of food, it could be a combination of hormones as well, which is for another webinar. Procrastination is a massive killer of taking action. But let me ask you this. What would happen if you were to procrastinate your procrastination? What would happen if you were to procrastinate procrastination? You'd act, right? It's a double negative. So next time you find yourself procrastinating about something, ask yourself that question. What would happen if you were to procrastinate your procrastination? The reason why we procrastinate is a matter of values, and we're going to talk about how to realign our values this evening. And if you feel unmotivated, it's normally because we haven't sparked. I believe we all have a flame within us. Some people have just a pilot light, and some people, let's use Richard Branson or Oprah Winfrey, they have a burning flame of desire to achieve greatness in any area. That doesn't just mean in finances. It could be relationships, it could be health, it could be another area, it could be a career. Okay, we all have a different definition of success. What is your definition of success? Now, what if you were to, I could begin to share with you some cool strategies to begin to switch the power dynamics so you can control these factors. Okay, there's two games that we play. We play an inner game and an outer game. I'm not going to go in depth about that this evening. We're going to talk about the inner game, how to control the things and how to focus on the things that we can control, your 4 powers, which we'll talk about shortly. But let me ask you this. What makes you happy? What truly makes you happy? And some people go, oh, I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what I want out of life. Well, let's start with something simple. Do you like ice cream? Does ice cream make you happy? Well, it kind of does. Ben & Jerry's is bloody delicious, right? Sure, it's full of high fructose corn syrup, but, you know, I know it makes me happy. But it makes me feel like crap the next day. So we know that. But what really makes you happy? I'm talking about, there's a difference between feeling content, like 95% of people on the planet, and feeling happy, and feeling truly fulfilled. And if you don't yet feel fulfilled, if you choose to take on board the information and use this in your everyday life from here on in, I guarantee you won't be far away. Okay? So what makes you truly happy? And I think the problem is that there's so much going on. We're in the information age, and I think that we make our lives too complex. Now, your life is what you make it. If you believe something's easy, then to you it's easy. If you believe something's hard, then to you it's hard. And I think life, I like to simplify things, and I think life is really simple. Work out which experiences make you happy, which people make you happy, and spend your time having those experiences with those people. And I had the great opportunity to go away last weekend to Noosa and had a romantic weekend away with cocktails and eating out at restaurants and the beach and just relaxing. It was a beautiful weekend away with my partner, and we had a great weekend. And it was, you know, we didn't have to spend a lot of money, and it was really simple. It's the finer things in life. We get so caught up in the logistics of our business or our job. We get so stressed out about money. We get so stressed out about our health that we forget to be grateful about things. We forget to simplify things. So I'm going to invite you to simplify things. And that's what the mental vitamins are about. Over the last 8 years, I've had the opportunity to become a qualified international trainer of neuro-linguistic programming. I did my practitioner, my master practitioner, and my trainer's training, which is similar to the PhD level. I've done my advanced hypnosis. I've done courses in emotional field therapy, emotional intelligence, thought field therapy, Gestalt therapy, Ericksonian hypnosis, and a few other areas as well, clinical psychology. And what I've found is a lot of these things are great, but they're so technical and they're too advanced. If you could just take something and really simplify it so it's just really easy for the everyday person to use, which Tony Robbins began to do, then you can use it on a daily basis without making it complex. It can be really simple. And that's what the mental vitamins are. It's 5 simple focuses, 5 different vitamins, and if you just use these on a daily basis, really simple, okay, up 10 to 30 minutes of your day, you will begin to see massive changes in the results in your life and how you feel. Okay, so the mental vitamins, what are they? So, vitamin A, the first vitamin is vitamin A. Now, I am recording this, okay, so you will each, within the next week or two, receive a recording of this, and I'll also be happy to share with you these slides as well. The first step in any kind of change is awareness. You become aware of the fact that you're here this evening because you want some sort of change. You want more money, you want better health, you want to lose weight, you want to put on weight, you want better relationships, you want to find a relationship. You're here because we want change. There's nothing wrong with wanting change. It is in our nature. We're like trees. If we're not growing, we're dying. It is natural for us to want to improve each and every day in every way and getting better and better. It's a fantastic affirmation, just growing every single day, one step forward. The first step in any kind of change is awareness. So vitamin A is awareness. The more aware you are of exactly what you want, the more likely it is that you will achieve it. And those that attended the 7 laws to body transformation will know that that's the first law in body transformation. First step in any kind of change is awareness. Become aware of where you are, where you want to be, and then you can backtrack from there and set smaller goals along the way. It's kind of like, have you ever bought a car? Well, let's chunk it down. Have you ever bought a shirt or for the girls a dress and then you've seen it everywhere? Have you ever bought a car and then you've gone, holy crap, the car's everywhere? In psychology, this is known as schema. Now, if I say to you, think of your big toe right now. Now, 5 minutes ago, you weren't thinking about big toe, but you knew it was there, right? It's just that you weren't consciously thinking of it. Think of your unconscious, or let's say your subconscious is a dark room, and your conscious mind is a torch. Wherever you shine that torch, okay, that's what you draw into your conscious awareness. Now, the thing is that most people are on default and let their torch flicker. Now, I'm going to invite you tonight to become aware of the fact that you can start controlling your own torch. And that's what schema is. It's attractors. What we focus on and think about, we attract into our life because we look out for them. Okay, so what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands through habituation. The more we do something, the more it habituates. And we're going to talk about how habits form shortly. I want to talk a little bit about quantum physics. One of my favorite subjects at the moment is quantum theory and quantum physics. Now, if you haven't yet seen it, for those that have, What the Bleep is an amazing, very simple look at the basic fundamentals of quantum physics. Okay. Now, the basis of quantum physics is that everything is energy. Everything is energy, even matter. We're taught at school that there's solid, gas, and liquid. Now, the fact is that there is space between the space in everything, and that everything is actually energy. And when in our conscious awareness, it becomes particles, and when outside of our conscious awareness, it becomes waves. And I'm not going to go in depth about that, but what I do want to talk about is consciousness, and the fact that whenever you think, and this is what is so fascinating, this is proven science. Quantum physics is now the most studied and researched science on the planet. Even it overpassed theoretical physics just recently as the most studied and researched science on the planet, which is quite fascinating, I find. I think people are becoming more open and accepting towards quantum physics. And the fact that when we think, our thoughts literally emit an energy signature. And that energy signature literally changes the molecular structure of not only our own bodies, but our own surroundings, which is, it's gobsmacking. To begin to even fathom that is crazy. So it's consciousness that draws things into our awareness, not the other way around. Most people will live at the effect rather than the cause. So it's important to understand that whenever we think, we emit an energy source. Dr. Emoto in What the Bleep, his water crystal theory, he talks about what he did is he would take bottles or glasses of water and he would play different music and have different thoughts and so forth, and then put them on slides and put them under the microscope. And it would literally alter the molecular structure of the water on the slides. Absolutely fascinating. If you haven't seen it yet, you can Google Dr. Emoto and his work, or you can even watch What the Bleep. Okay, extremely fascinating. But the thing is that whatever we think, okay, whatever we think emits energy, and when our thoughts become emotionalized, they become magnetized, and they magnetize, they attract similar like energies and similar like thoughts, which is incredibly powerful to understand. But I want to talk about the PTIT. People are probably looking at the slide going, what the heck is PTIT? Well, it's really simple. The process that I like to use with vitamin A, with anyone in any kind of achievement, is I like to focus on the next 6 months to begin with. And I want to invite you to do this in your own time after tonight, to make a list of everything and anything you want to achieve over the next 6 months. Just make a list, okay? And then what you're going to do from that list is you're going to put it into one of each of the 4 columns. If you want this spreadsheet, I can send it through to you. Just shoot me a message on Facebook afterwards. If you do have any questions this evening, we are going to run out of time, so shoot me a message on Facebook as well. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put each of those items into the 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or 3 6 month plan, and then you're going to create an action plan from that. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And what the PT it is have you noticed that personal training has absolutely exploded over the last decade? And I believe that's because we understand, personal trainers, the power of a certain process. And that process is what we use with our clients, which is know where they are, where they want to be and by when, backtrack from there to set small goals along the way, implement specific strategies to achieve those, then track and monitor that, and then have somebody keep you accountable to sticking to that process. No matter how successful, knowledgeable, intelligent, ambitious, driven you already are, it is easy to drop the ball and sometimes focus on things that we shouldn't be focusing on and get sidetracked from what we really need to be focusing on in our primary focuses. Then overlap that with our mental vitamins to ensure that we get our psychology in alignment with, the results we want to achieve. Because for you personal trainers that are listening, have you ever had a client that's stuck to the meal plan, they've stuck to their training, and they've done everything, and they just haven't seemed to get results? I guarantee the reason being is because of their psychology. There'll be fears or trepidation holding them back. It'll be something to do with their psychological habits, their thinking, their belief systems, or their values. And we're going to talk about that and how to begin to use that with your clients if you are a personal trainer this evening as well. So whenever you have something you want to achieve, PT it. Go through that process. What I want to invite you to do is, as you sit there, is just grab a pen and paper. Just grab your pen and paper. And I just want you to think of an outcome, something that's a big goal that you have in the next 6 months. Something you have in the next 6 months. And I just want you to write that down. I want you to write it in a way that you know you've achieved it. So if you write, I want more money, you can go, well, here's $1. So it needs to be specific. I want this amount of money. I want this amount of clients if you're a personal trainer. If it's a business, I want this. If it's to meet the partner of your dreams. So just take the next 10 to 15 seconds just to write that down. If it's weight loss, I want to lose 15 kilos and I want to weigh this amount of weight. Just write that down, that one. What's the most important thing for you to achieve in the next 6 months? Again, if you haven't yet done that, you're not going to make the most out of this evening and you're only cheating yourself. So now that you have that number one outcome, that's going to be the focus for this evening. And at any stage of the next 30 minutes, if you want to change that, go for it. Because I guarantee a lot of people don't set goals because they're like, well, you know what, there's no point setting goals because that never happens. And even if it does, it doesn't happen the way that I want. And even if it does happen the way I want, I'm like, yep, all right, I can achieve the goal. The brain's like, woohoo, I achieved my goal, yes. Then the brain goes, okay, crap, what now? Another goal. So it's so important. It's so important to remember it's not just about achieving the goal. And the problem isn't that we set goals too high and don't achieve them. The problem is to set goals too low and do achieve them. So it's about the journey and the person we become and the learnings we have along the way. So a lot of people won't set goals. What I love about setting goals as well is that what normally happens is there's no rules. You can go, I'm going to have a private jet, I'm going to have an island, I'm going to meet the person of my dreams, I'm going to have an 8-pack. And then this little voice inside your head goes, well, you don't know how to do that. You can't do that, or you don't deserve that. You know the voice I'm talking about, right? We call it the great trickster. And that voice is the voice that lets you know whenever you do PT something, or you do make that list of everything you want, that's the voice that lets you know that you must write that in. Forget about the how-to, just get that down. Okay? The power of strategy. The power of strategy. So once you PT it, now we don't have time to go through specific strategies, but what we do is we assist people with business coaching, fitness business owners with business coaching, and we apply the mental vitamins as well. And we help fitness business owners create enough passive income to never have to work again. How cool is that? We work with people with life coaching in any area, whether it be sales, whether it be relationships. We help you in those areas as well, and we apply the mental vitamins. Also, we help people with strategy with weight loss and body transformation or even weight gain. And we use the 7 laws of body transformation to help people achieve that. And we also apply the mental vitamins. And we have 3 pillars with that. If you would like to talk more about the strategy, I am going to be offering every single person in the webinar this evening a free consult with myself personally to talk about either your fitness business, to talk about life coaching, or if there's any area in your life that you want to excel at. Or if you want to achieve any sort of weight loss or body transformation, then I'm happy to extend an offer as a gift from me to you, as corny as that is, for being here this evening, to talk to you specifically about the power of strategy, because we don't have time this evening. So the other thing I want to talk about, and we do spend a lot of time on awareness, is that everything you have in your life is in direct relationship to the way you think. Okay. Now the thing is that you cannot not think. You're always thinking one thought at a time. And what are you thinking? The thing is that you're not normally thinking about the things that you're thinking about. And when you do think about the things that you think about, what happens then? And that's what we're going to talk about in a moment. But it's our self-talk. I'm going to invite you guys over the next week to each day, when you find it just popping into your head, just to think about what you're thinking about. And this is the reason, because if you look at, for personal trainers that are listening, when you have clients, there's 3 main aspects of self-talk that I guarantee that will always be there. And if you can get them to shift this self-talk and stop this self-talk, that in itself is going to eliminate a lot of self-sabotage. Okay? And it's also going to help you gain a lot more results with your clients as well. And if it's for yourself, I want you to become aware of when you say any of these 3 things. Because our self-talk, whatever we say, there's a science called, and I'm jumping ahead here, but there's a science called neuroplasticity. And all that is a fancy word for, how's that for dinner talk? Oh, I heard about this science called neuroplasticity. Well, all it is a cool word for that. We can literally rewire the unconscious through conscious intent, which means that what we're thinking constantly in our conscious literally determines the wiring of our brain at the unconscious level. So if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, then you're going to form negative beliefs, and that's going to determine the actions you take and so forth. Okay, so let me use some examples. So the first one is I should. Well, let's use the context of health and fitness for this, or weight loss. You know, I should go to the gym, or I should eat healthier, or, you know, I should track my meals, and then there's should all over yourself, right? So what would happen if you were to turn those shoulds into a must? So eliminate your shoulds and turn your shoulds into a must. I must go to the gym because I want to weigh 65 kilos. No, nay, I will weigh 65 kilos by December 24, 2012. I must go to the gym because, I must eat healthy because. Notice how much more that empowers us. The problem with should is this. Now, when you say I should do something, and you're not normally thinking about these until now, are you more likely to perform or take action? No, right? You don't. And then what happens when you don't take that action? You feel guilty, right? Now, this is the problem. In NLP, there's called anchors. They're also called triggers. We trigger anchors. So we're going to talk a bit about anchoring this evening. Now, what happens is that we're feeling guilt, and we're thinking about the gym. Let's use the gym. I didn't go to the gym. So then what happens is the brain doesn't recognize what's called command negations. Don't think of a pink elephant right now. The brain doesn't recognize this. Okay? So you're thinking about the gym and you're feeling guilty. You're then attaching guilt to the gym. So our clients, if you're a personal trainer, will attach guilt to going to the gym or to eating healthy. Now, do you think that's going to be a good motivator for them to go to the gym? Of course not. So we need to turn those shoulds into musts. The next is try, and we've all heard this. You know, Yoda says it best. You know, no try, only do or do not. I love that. I love it. It's a great statement. I think it's very true. You know, I tried to go to the gym, or you know what? I tried to quit smoking. I tried to eat healthy. You know, I tried to note failure. In hypnosis, that we will actually use the word try, so people will fail. Try to not think of me in a mankini right now. I apologize. Those that know me know that I'm not the most serious person in the world at the best of times. You know, try to not think of a black cat. Okay, try to not find yourself thinking about your hands clapping. It's endless. So I tried to note failure. I tried to quit smoking. I tried to go to the gym. I tried to eat healthy. I tried not to drink that alcohol. Okay, and the third and the most powerful is the I am. Whatever follows the words I am are the most powerful words, because these will determine your reality. Because whatever follows I am, you cannot lie to the brain. I am overweight. I am an alcoholic. I am a smoker. I am a drug addict. The brain says, okay, you're the boss. I can't lie to myself. My actions must be in alignment with those things. If your clients are saying I am overweight, or I am a smoker, or they're saying I am something that they don't want to be, then their behavior is going to continue no matter what they do, no matter how much they want it. And how many times have you had clients that are crying because they can't understand why they're not making the changes? I am is so powerful. And we will actually use affirmations. We're going to talk about next slides in a moment. So I want you to begin to notice and become aware of them in the next week. Whenever you say I am, whatever that is, if it is a negative or something you don't want to I am or be, then you need to replace that with something that you want to be, even if you don't yet believe that. Okay? So let me ask you this question. What do you hate most about your life? And you might be thinking, well, what do you mean? That's not a very positive statement, Jason. Isn't that a bit negative? Well, how do we motivate and drive ourselves? We're going to talk a bit about motivating ourselves shortly. But I want you to think about what disturbs you, what do you dislike most about your life? Because if you're always improving and fixing and changing what you dislike most about your life, wouldn't you agree that your life is constantly going to improve? What do you hate most about your life? And the problem is there's a lot of people that want results. They like the idea of things. I like the idea of losing weight. I like the idea of financial freedom. I like the idea of falling madly in love. You know, and then all these fears and different things pop into our mind. But what if you were to instead of go, well, I'd like, say, well, I must, you know, and have that conviction. And we're going to talk about that shortly. This is about the self-talk. How do you talk to yourself in the context or the area that you want to achieve success in that you've written down this evening? How would you feel if you were there forever? How would you feel if that thing that you hate most about your life right now, your current job, your business, your relationship, how would you feel the way you look when you look in the mirror? Get a photo from behind. Nothing is motivating as that. Jesus. What do you hate most about your life? How would you feel if you were there forever? How stuck would you feel? How much would that suck? Because no matter what, if you're improving in all other areas of your life, but the thing that you hate most about your life is staying stuck, then there's always going to be this niggling sensation of anxiety or some kind of feeling that you're like, I don't really, you know that feeling just like you're not sure what it is, but something just doesn't feel right. That's the feeling there. And this is where an attitude of gratitude comes in. We've all heard this. I think it's corny, but gratitude is such a powerful tool, and I'm going to share with you why. All in all, the most important part about vitamin A and awareness is becoming aware of your own self-talk. Eliminate the word try, turn shoulds into musts, and become aware of what follows I am. And notice this in your clients as well if you have clients. Remember to PT it. People ask me in interviews and podcasts, what's my secret to success? No secret, just PT it. Know where you are, where you want to be, backtrack from there to set small goals along the way, implement specific strategies. Contact me if you don't yet have those on the how. Okay, then you track and monitor that. Einstein said it best himself. The definition of insanity is trying to achieve a different result from doing the same thing over. Okay, and then you have somebody keep you accountable, or even a team of people to keep you accountable, sticking to that. And then you make sure you get your psychology in alignment by applying these mental vitamins. When you apply these mental vitamins, it'll guarantee your success. Okay, so what's the next vitamin? Vitamin B. Vitamin B is belief. We need to have belief. If we don't believe something's going to happen. Now, when you're a child, remember when you believed in Santa Claus? No one could tell you otherwise. You knew Santa existed. Once upon a time as a society, we believed the earth was flat. Once upon a time as a society, we believed that the sun revolved around the earth. Imagine what we believe to be true now, proven by science, that in 50, 100, maybe even less years, we will laugh at. Imagine. So what do you believe right now that's holding you back? The thing about beliefs is you choose your own beliefs. Whether you believe this or not yet is irrelevant. But wouldn't you agree that if you believe something to be true, that it's more likely to happen for you? And if you have limiting beliefs holding you back, if you PT your beliefs, PT it. So know what your beliefs are, know the beliefs that you need to have, and then begin to re-imprint those beliefs, which is what we do in vitamin B when we apply these mental vitamins. Then you're going to begin to shift your focus, and you're going to begin to add fuel to that fire that we spoke about before that everybody has. Vitamin A needs to be taken with vitamin B. Okay, there's no point believing in something if you haven't begun to shift and focus on your self-talk around the context of that thing that you want to achieve that you wrote down before. So how are your beliefs formed? What are they? Well, it's really simple. This is how they're formed. Now, even though it seems circular or secular, everything starts with the form of a thought. We think. Then from our thoughts, what we do is we feel. Okay, so depending on what we think and the way we think will determine how we feel. I can prove this. So think about a time where you were with a partner, an ex-partner or a current partner, and you were having some wine or you're out or something, and you had a bit of a kiss and it led to some kind of romantic experience. And as you begin to think about that, you can't help but also notice how that made you feel and begin to relive those feelings. And that's because of what you're focusing on. So if you're feeling something you don't want to feel, we need to change our thoughts. So we think, and then it determines how we feel. And then our state that we're in will determine the actions that we take. Have you noticed that? And I can prove this. You're at home alone, your partner's late for dinner, or somebody's late for dinner, or a friend's late, or a family member's late to something. Now, if you're in a happy state, okay, you might be like, oh well. If you're in an angry state, what's going to happen? You're going to get upset at them. If you're in a concerned or worried state, you might start calling the hospitals. So what you focus on will determine how you feel, which will also determine your actions. Okay. Now, there's no denying that our actions will determine our outcome. Okay, so the results in which we achieve. Then what happens is the results we achieve, we go, okay, well, I thought this, felt this, acted this way, achieved this outcome, so I believe this now. Now, the problem is that when we believe this, quite often it's at the unconscious level. We're not even consciously aware of how that was formed. And even if we are, we might have missed one of those steps. And I apologize if I'm getting a little in-depth here, but I think this is absolutely critical. Because then our beliefs will also form our values, which I'll talk about shortly. So that's what a belief is. A belief is just a confirmation thought about another thought. And that's all it is. A belief is something that we believe to be true, something that we've confirmed to us. And the problem is that when people challenge our beliefs, because it's a part of us and we associate that as a part of us, we feel as though people are attacking our identity because that's a part of us. And this is where you get arguments and debates and so forth when you have different opinions. Now, just because you disagree with someone, does that make it wrong? You might disagree with the statement I've just said. That doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it different. Now, this is the thing about beliefs. Know what beliefs you have now. Work out the beliefs that are holding you back from achieving what you want. Work out the beliefs you don't yet have that you need to be successful. And then begin to re-imprint them. And that's what we do with vitamin B in all our programs. We talk about and teach you how to re-imprint beliefs so you can determine which beliefs you have, which ones you need to have, and to shift those beliefs. Let me ask you this question. If you were to make a list of the top 5 beliefs that if you had no choice but to become successful or achieve that thing that you wrote down about 20 minutes ago, what would they be? What a cool exercise, and imagine if you were to reprint them. I want to talk a bit about the critical period. Most of your beliefs that you have at the unconscious level were formed before the age of 8. Our brainwave levels are running at a state of theta levels. We're highly suggestible. Okay, so normally our parents will say something and we just take it on board as being true. I realized a couple of years ago that I have a great ability to make a lot of money really quickly. And the thing was with me is that was great. I was making plenty of money, but I would spend it really quickly. And I realized that my mum is a single mum who never really had a lot of money. She was on government payments. That when she would receive her pay, she would go out and she'd spend it all that day. And it wasn't until I realized this a few years ago that I could begin to switch that belief and begin to switch my behavior. So a bit of homework, or home play rather, an exercise for you to do you're going to learn more about yourself and your beliefs from this one exercise than anything you could do, hypnosis or anything. Make a list of all the paradigms and the belief systems that you had as a child in your house growing up. If it's around finances, was a household a poor household? Was there an abundance of money? Did your parents just say money doesn't grow on trees? Did you get pocket money or not? Did they spend a lot? Were they savers? And you watch the relationship there. If it's in the relationship, if it's in the context of food or weight loss, were you made to eat your veggies? Could you go to the fridge and help yourself any time? If it was, is it relationships? Were your parents together? Were they happily married are they still happily married? Were they separated? Were they like my mum, who was in and out of relationships all the time? And I've only just now, at the age of 33, finally fallen madly in love. I actually gave $80,000 worth of my belongings away to charity and moved over to Brisbane not even 4 months ago to be with the girl of my dreams. But finally, because I dealt with all my demons, I worked on my belief systems, my values, and applied these mental vitamins in every area of my life. I'm far from perfect. I've got just as many, if not more, issues than everybody listening. But we're human, and when we accept our humanism and we constantly work on becoming better, and then we take those learnings and we teach them to other people to inspire other people and assist other people and to give back to the community, that's what I think that's where fulfillment comes from. So in your own time, go through that exercise. Self-talk and neuroplasticity, we've already talked about that. Now what I want to talk about with re-imprinting is, remember the times table that you learned when you were in primary school? How do we learn the times table? Remember 3 times 3, you learn through repetition. So 3 times 3 is 9, right? 6 times 6 is 36. 13 times 13 is, oh man, they didn't teach us that one in school. It's through repetition, and that's what neuroplasticity is. So we use a repetition exercise where we use affirmations, okay, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. I want you to write this down. What is your #1 toxic belief that you had up until now that was holding you back from achieving that goal or item that you wrote down about 15, 20 minutes ago? Just take a moment, just take the next 10 seconds as you sit there, just take a pen. I just want you to write down the one toxic belief that you had up until now that you believed was holding you back from achieving it. And if you can't yet think of something, there must be something, otherwise you would have already achieved it. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I don't have the resources. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the money. I'm not dedicated or committed enough. I'm not disciplined enough. Okay. Then what I want you to do is I want you to cross that out. Just cross that out now. Scribble that out. And as you scribble that out, what I want you to do is right next to that or below that is one new belief, whether you have it or not, that if you do have this belief, is going to dramatically increase your chances of achieving that outcome that you wrote before. What is that new belief? Again, you might not be doing this. You might be thinking, Jason doesn't know if I'm not doing it. But I guarantee if you choose to do this, it's going to make a massive difference to achieving that outcome. And I'd love to hear your feedback from all of you about this outcome you've set tonight and work with you personally, or even if I don't have the opportunity to work with you personally on achieving it, just stay in touch on Facebook and let me know how you went with it. So what is that new enhancing belief? Just write that down. Now what I want to do is I want to begin to share with you a pretty cool strategy that I learned in NLP about anchoring. Now can you recall a time, can you recall a song? Can you think of a song that when you remember or think of that song, it reminds you of an experience with an ex-partner or a relationship or a current partner? Is there a song? Is there a food that reminds you of something, or a smell? Have you ever been in the shower or the toilet or driving to work and this just memory just pops in your mind for no reason? It's because there's triggers. Everything acts as a trigger. And all an anchor is when we attach or link an internal state with an external stimuli. So when we see a certain person, we feel a certain way. When we hear a certain song, we think of a certain memory. Everything is linked. Okay, everything is linked. So what if we could use this to our advantage? What if I could share with you a really cool but simple and powerful strategy that when you choose to do this can help you get motivated when you're not feeling motivated, can help you take action when you're procrastinating, can help you overcome and take action regardless of the fact that you feel fear. What if I could share a really cool strategy with you? Could you just for a moment, if I share this with you, you have to just give this exercise a go. Just pop the pen and paper down. I guarantee if you do this, you'll love it. Okay? All I'm going to do is just get nice and comfortable, sit up nice and tall, take a big deep breath in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. And again, breathe in through the nose. And breathe out through the nose. Nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. And as you keep breathing, I just want you to keep breathing, clear the mind and relax more and more each time you breathe. If you're not yet doing this and you're thinking it's silly, then that's fine, but you're going to miss out. This is a fantastic exercise. All you're going to do is keep breathing. In a moment, not yet. We're going to breathe in. And as you breathe out in your mind's eye only in your mind, you're going to scream yes as loud as you can, and I'm going to explain why shortly. So take a big deep breath in through the nose, ready to go. All the way in as far as you can, and as you breathe out through the nose, yell yes as long as you can the whole time in your mind's eye, go. And again, breathe in through the nose. Out through the nose, louder, yes, louder, scream it the whole time until you've got no air left. And one go, yes, louder. And once more in through the nose, and then keep breathing in all the way you can, and this time loud as you can, louder than last time, wasn't loud enough. Breathe out and go, louder. And as you come back, I just want you to just notice how that makes you feel. How cool a feeling is that? It's a little strange, it's a little unique, and if you're not yet doing this, you might be thinking, what a bloody stupid exercise, but I guarantee it's an amazing feeling. I use this going to the gym to get myself in a state. I use this to take action. I use this when I feel fear to take action anyway and do it. Recently I had the opportunity to go bungee jumping. I think they should call it bungee falling, because if anyone saw the video, I didn't exactly jump. It was more of a just lean forward and fall. But that's irrelevant. We did it, right? You did it. You face your fears and you do it anyway. Now, the cool thing about this, you might think, well, that's great, but what do I use this for? If you get in the habit of using this, and I can use this sometimes 100 times in a day, what that's going to do is going to put you in a positive state. It's going to switch your focus. It's going to allow you to focus on what you need to, okay? And you're going to anchor that, so that way whenever you do that, it's automatically going to anchor action. You're going to take action regardless of how you feel. You're going to feel the way that you want. You're going to get the results you want, and you're going to be able to begin to control what you think, control what you feel, control your actions, and be more empowered to have more influence on your outcomes, and therefore choose more resourceful beliefs. Okay, if you choose to do that, give it a go. I will use it with everything that we do in our programs. It's an amazing exercise. Okay, so what is a habit? What is a habit? A habit is really simple. A habit is something that has been formed through that process that we spoke about before. What we think determines how we feel. What we feel determines our actions. The way we act determines our outcomes, and our outcomes determine our beliefs and our values. Our habits will lie in that process somewhere. It's something that we've done along that process that has formed a belief and a value, which we've habituated, that we do over and over again because of our beliefs. So our beliefs form and fuel our habits. Normally at the unconscious level, we're not aware of those. And we can empower ourselves with 4 things we can completely control, which is our 4 powers I'm going to talk about shortly. Okay, there's 4 types of habits. You've got behavioral habits, you have emotional habits, okay, you've got speech habits, so things that you say, and you've got thought habits, the way you think. And these will normally be related to triggers and anchors. So when the fight or flight, when something happens, do you fight or flight? And we're going to talk about how to begin to control that. Well, let me ask you this question. I'm going to talk about this more in depth. But what is the one habit that was holding you back up until now from achieving that outcome that you wrote about 5 minutes ago? Just write that down. What was the one habit that up until now was holding you back from achieving that? Was it socializing with friends? Was it drinking alcohol too much? Was it your own self-talk? Was it spending money? Was it not being frugal enough? Just write down that habit. Again, if you're not doing this, you're not going to get the most out of it. I guarantee you do all this stuff, you're going to feel pretty amazing going to bed tonight, but also you're going to be able to utilize this and use this on an ongoing basis over the next few weeks, and you're going to see a dramatic difference in your results, but also in how fulfilled you will feel. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to cross that habit out. Cross that out. Now I want you to replace that with a new habit. You cannot eliminate a habit. You need to replace an old habit with a new habit. So what is the new habit that will take its place? What's the new habit that you don't yet have? What's something you'll start doing, stop doing, do less of or more of? What's a new habit that will take its place, that when you start doing as of right now, the only power you have is right now. When is now a good time to do anything? When you write down that habit and you start that now, what's that new habit that will take its place that's going to dramatically increase your chances of success for that outcome? Now, I want to ask you this. I want you to do this in your own time. I want you to write what your top 5 values are. The 3 main areas in vitamin B are your values, your habits, and your beliefs. And what we do with the Mental Vitamins program is we help you become, we PT it. We help you become aware of what are your current habits, your beliefs and your values. Okay, what do we need to get rid of that's holding you back from achieving the results that you want specifically? What new ones, what new habits, values, and beliefs do we need? And then we imprint them, and we use specific strategies to imprint those, and we bridge that gap. And that's what this is the core of the Mental Vitamins program. So what are your top 5 values in order? And the reason why this is so important, and values are the most important, they're the deepest. Now this is the thing, let me ask you this, if you believe that you cannot be rich and be spiritual at the same time, is that going to serve you if you want to become wealthy and give back to the community? Definitely not. And you'll find there's normally a correlation between that and your values. So you might value, so the problem is if you value spirituality over money, as an example, which isn't good or bad or right or wrong, they're just our values, then it's going to make it difficult. So we need to align our values. We need to work out what are your top 5 values in hierarchical dominance order, And then what order do they need to be in to achieve success? So really, this is a mental blueprint. This is a mental success blueprint that we use, mind mapping, if you will. So are these values, once you do this exercise in your own time, you can make a note of that if you like. If you have any questions with that, you have trouble working them out, then let me know. My number one value I worked out some time ago was freedom. Hence why I call myself unemployable and why I love to run businesses. And I love to run businesses that make a difference in people's lives. My true passion is helping people go, well, these are your dreams, these are your hopes and dreams in any area, whether it be business, finances, relationships, health. Okay, these are your hopes and dreams. Okay, the reason why we label them dreams is because we see them outside of our realm of reality. We want to bring them into our realm of reality, we want to PT it, we want to create a strategy for achieving it, then get our psychology in alignment and help keep you accountable to making that happen. That is my passion, helping people's dreams become a reality. And it's corny, but it's true. Because nothing is more fulfilling than that. Because you know what? And I'm probably ahead of myself here again. But 98% of the people on the planet right now, billions of people are going to die not achieving their hopes and dreams. Not achieving their hopes and dreams. Will you be the person on the deathbed, lying on the deathbed, in tears because they have so many regrets because they procrastinated, they didn't take action, they had all these hopes and dreams, they didn't do what's necessary to achieve them, and had all these regrets? Or will you be the second person lying on the deathbed, only 2% of the world's population, with a big smile on the face? Grandchild looks up, says, why are you smiling? You look down and say, you know what? I loved, I learned, I left a legacy, I'm passing the torch on to you. I have no regrets. I took all the action. I made mistakes. I took risks. And I've left a legacy for you guys, and I'm happy to pass. Which one will you be? Who will you be? Okay, because at the end of the day, it's morbid, but one day we're going to pass. And that's all that's going to matter is that legacy when you're passed. What legacy will you leave? What difference are you going to make? So, unfortunately, we don't have much more time to go through values. We're going to keep moving forward. I want to talk a bit about the affirmations process. We have a rituals process, and what we do is every morning and every evening we create affirmations for the beliefs, habits, and values that we need. Okay, and we use a visualizing strategy and a seeding strategy, which unfortunately I'm not going to have time to go through now. But if you have any questions with that process, which is an incredibly powerful process that we use morning and evening, to begin to re-imprint your beliefs, values, and habits that you need. If you have any questions with that, please let me know, and I can talk to you about them in the free consult. So vitamin B is belief. Do or do not. There is no try. I love that picture. Yeah. Vitamin C is courage. Okay, we'll be finishing up in about 15 minutes because they're the two biggest ones. Vitamin C is courage. Okay. Now I thought about this long and hard, and this was actually the last one that I came up with, because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is having the fear anyway. And in this mental vitamins, I thought about every single possibility of something psychologically that would hold someone back from achieving results, and we covered all the bases. That's why it took so long to finish this. You might think, this is ridiculous. It's so simple. How could this take 8-9 years to refine? It's a lot deeper than this. Obviously, I can only go through a 6-month program in so much detail in an hour and a half. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's having the fear and dealing with it anyway. We use anchors and different strategies to help you overcome the fear. You're always going to have fears. There's always going to be trepidation. But it's the choices, it's the actions, it's the thoughts that you choose to make. You can begin to control them. Now, this is what I love about fears, that when you habituate taking action, when experiencing trepidation, the trepidation or the fear itself becomes a trigger to act. So, for example, you feel fear 10 times in a row, and you take the action the next 10 times to do the thing that you felt the fear for. What's going to happen the 11th time? Automatically, bang, it's going to be a trigger to act. You fire that yes trigger, and you fire that yes trigger, automatically, whenever you feel fear or trepidation, it could be public speaking, it could be sales, it could be something in business, it could be, I don't know, a dream partner. If you feel fear of failure or fear of uncertainty, fire that yes anchor. Okay, take the action anyway. And we go through a bit more in depth, some different exercises that you can use to overcome that. I'm sharing the yes one with you tonight because that's the most simple yet the most powerful one that I believe that you can be using every day from now on. The key to overcoming fear is these three things: specificity, clarity, and certainty. Because when you feel certain, when you're clear on what's happening, and you have specificity in your plan, yeah, you're more grateful for what you have. This eliminates fear. But you know what? You can never be 100% certain. You can never have a crystal ball. You can never have complete certainty and clarity on what's going to happen tomorrow. All you can do is focus on your 4 powers. There are 4 things you can completely control in this world. The problem is that most people control on the weather or the current situation, or they focus on things outside of them that they can't control. Is it okay if I share with you your 4 powers, the 4 things that if you choose to focus on as of today, you can begin to switch your focus towards what you can control, and that's going to empower you to have more clarity, more certainty, and more specificity in your everyday. Is it okay if I share those with you? Okay, you might want to grab a pen and paper. Grab a pen and paper and you write these letters down vertically. So just write the letter B. Under the letter, write the letter E. Under the letter E, write the letter S. Under the letter S, write the letter T. Best. Be the best you can be. It's a great acronym. It's called a mnemonic device in psychology. The first thing you can completely control is your behavior, and we spoke about this. You can choose to get up and walk away. You can choose to turn the webinar off. You can choose to stay and listen. You can choose to get up when you want. You can choose to eat when you want. You can choose to act the way you want whenever you want. You have complete control over that. That's your first power. The second power is emotions. You might not yet know how to do it, but we've begun to scratch the surface tonight that when we change our focus and we change our physiology, they're the keys to changing our state, we can choose to feel the way we want and we can directionalize our feelings. So second power is emotions. The third power is our speech. Although we don't quite often think about what we're saying before we say it, you can say what you want when you want. And the fourth power you have is your thoughts, the most powerful. Everything stems from thoughts. These are your 4 powers. If you're feeling any kind of state or feeling you don't want to be, change your focus on one of those 4 elements, fire your yes anchor, and I guarantee you're going to notice a massive difference because you're going to put yourself in the state that you need to be to make the more logical, life-enhancing decision. They're your 4 powers. When you focus on your 4 powers, that's going to assist you in eliminating the fear and having the courage to take the next step, take action, and do it anyway. So there is a bit of an exercise in here about selecting a fear that was holding you back. We're not going to do that. If you want to do that exercise while I'm still talking, that's fine. You can write a fear down that was holding you back, scratch it out like we did with the last 2, and create a new, and write down a new action that you'll take to overcome that fear. I invite you to do that now if you want while we keep talking. The importance of gratitude and dissociation. When you apply to those elements, gratitude, when you have an attitude of gratitude for the things that you already have in your life, it switches your focus. You focus on what you do have. What you focus on expands, you attract more of that. Those who see the secret, speak to yourself. And also dissociate from those feelings. So we're creating pictures or images or movies in our mind. People that are scared of, they get in a plane. They're not scared of flying. They're scared of the images they're playing in their mind of the plane crashing and them dying. Okay, so we need to dissociate from those pictures. We run movies in our mind. Okay, we're very creative, so we need to dissociate. We do have a ton of different specific strategies we use to help you anchor courage and take the next step, regardless of how fearful you feel of the uncertainty, of failure, of how things are going to go. Okay, that's vitamin C is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's having the fear and doing it anyway. Vitamin D is discipline. So let me talk to you about this. What motivates you? What drives you? Everything we do is to go towards pleasure or away from pain. Now this is the interesting thing. There's 2 types of motivation, towards and away. There's a young boy, okay, he can barely crawl. And the father's setting up the table. Look, let's role reverse. No, we're not role reverse. We're in the new age, right? So the father's cooking a roast and mum's setting the table. The father goes out to kiss the mum. The little boy crawls up and puts his hands on the stove, which is hot. First time he's ever experienced heat. He pulls his hand away really quickly, but only far enough away so it no longer burns. Then what happens? Well, let me just make sure that it burns. We put a hand back on and it moves away. Then he turns away and then crawls off to his mum or his dad. So the problem with away motivation is when we move away from pain, is that we only move far enough away so it's no longer painful. For example, you get a male that whenever he hits 100 kilos, he hits the gym and he diets, he hits 90 kilos, he's back in his comfort zone, he's moved his hand far enough away so it doesn't burn, then he goes back, he gets these yo-yo results. So any area of your life you're getting yo-yo results, I guarantee you're focusing on moving away rather than moving towards. So the most powerful way to get motivated to take action is, with the first step, is to use pain, move away from the pain. Only when a person who is obese or overweight, only when the lifestyle becomes, the pain of that lifestyle becomes greater than the journey they must embark upon to achieve the results they want, only when that happens will they take the first step. The problem is because that was the motivator in the first step, is we keep looking at what we don't want and move away from it, we keep looking at the stove, but we only move far enough away so we don't feel burning anymore. Well, what we need to do is once we take that first step is we need to turn away, face the other way, focus on what we do want to move towards it. And that's the interesting thing about weight loss. If you're listening right now and you want to lose weight, that's the problem. Is weight loss away or towards motivated? It's away. You're only going to move far enough away. So the focus isn't, I want to lose 15 kilos. The focus is the weight that you want to be. And the weight is only one aspect. It's important to notice how it makes you feel. You don't want to lose weight to look good. You want to lose weight because of how it makes you feel to look good. You don't want a brand new shiny car because it looks good and you look cool driving it. You want it because of how that makes you feel, the freedom, yeah? It's because of the way it makes you feel. Everything you do is driven towards pleasure or away from pain. Become aware of that, and you can become aware of what motivates you, and then you can choose it. Use your yes anchor and fire it again. I'm not going to spend too much time on it now, but the problem with discipline as well is a lot of people let their life control them. They let their week control them. How many people go, well, it's hump day, it's Wednesday, oh, thank God it's Friday, TGFI or TGIF, it's getting late. TGIF, yeah, drinks, so many people, live like that, but every day is a blessing. Every day you're grateful for every day, and those in business know that weekday, weekend's all the same, okay? And the thing is that they let their week control them. So a big part of having the discipline is you can control your week. We set up an action plan, and we don't read an action list. I don't believe a to-do list because how is that motivating? I've got a to-do list with 50 things that never gets done. Yeah, that's motivating. Use an action item list. Okay, so what we do is we make the list. Okay, then what we do is we delegate the things that we don't need to do. We eliminate the things we don't need to do. We automate the things that we can, and the things that are left we categorize into important and urgent, important or urgent, 1, 2, and 3, and then we categorize them. That's how we imagine how much more you'll get done. Some people might say, well, that's a bit too much. That's a bit, well, maybe it's not for everyone, but you can achieve so much more. I challenge you as well to attend webinars, to attend seminars, to read, to sharpen your mind. Your mind is a muscle, okay, metaphorically. If you don't use it, you will lose it. Now, for myself, sometimes I can pull 100-hour weeks with the business. So I know for me it can be a challenge to read. So I'll listen to 1, 2, or 3 hours of audios in a day while I'm working. You can do it while you're driving as well, or even while you're training. Creating a team. The law of positioning, accountability and positioning. Some people say, well, I am or I am not disciplined. It's deeper than that. If you position yourself in a way where you have to perform, you will perform. In business, if you have staff that rely on you to put food on the table, wouldn't you agree that that's going to motivate you to take the action you need to make a successful business? Hell yes. If you've got somebody to keep you accountable, to sticking to your meal plan, to sticking to your fitness program, to help you apply the psychological elements that you need, to keep you focused on the plan, because I know for me, I'm a visionary. Some people say I have business ADD. We use multi-ordinality. We get distracted by shiny things. We're doing one thing, we're back over here, we have this idea, and we're back over here. I'm just kind of guy that wakes up in the middle of the night and has these ideas. So I need somebody to keep me accountable to sticking to the plan, to stay focused on the important aspects to achieving that result. Again, we're going to fire the yes anchor here, but we are running out a bit of time. We're going to be about 5 more minutes. And here with discipline, the elements are with discipline is learning how to motivate yourself so you can fire your yes anchor to take the action that you need. Okay, understanding your pain and pleasure. 2 is to control your week. Don't let your week control you through having that time management. 3 is accountability and positioning. Make sure you have a team, have a mastermind team. Okay, so if you want to lose weight, get a nutritionist, get a personal trainer. Yeah, get a life coach. If it's in business, get a business coach. Okay, etc. And the power of tracking. Because if you know what you want and you know when you want to buy, if you're not monitoring that, how do you know if you're achieving results or not? Perfect example is with weight loss or achieving body transformation goals. Is that if you aren't tracking the results, how do you know if you are or are not achieving your targets? So we might set a target of losing 4 kilos in 4 weeks, and if we're not tracking that, how do we know if we have or have not achieved that? And if we get to that point where we haven't achieved it, and let's be honest, more things don't work than do work in business and in life. And that's why a lot of people give up. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes and things not working. It's not failure, it's temporary defeat. There's a massive difference. It's important to understand the difference. The power of tracking. Tracking it. If you want success in any area, whatever is that thing that you wrote down this evening, you need to monitor that on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis because that's going to keep you focused on it. Okay, and just by focusing on it, what we focus on expands. It's going to keep it in your conscious awareness, and that's going to dramatically influence your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, and therefore your outcome. Okay, it's absolutely critical. So they're the main elements for having discipline and applying vitamin D. The last vitamin is vitamin E, excitement, because what excites you about your life? If you can't get excited about your business or excited about your life or excited about your relationship, if your partner comes home and you're like, hey, what's the point? If you can't get excited about life, then what the hell is the point of living? And those that know me know that I'm quite passionate. I get excited about the seemingly small things. Again, my true passion, I've created a business and a lifestyle where I do have the freedom to do things that I want. I have passive income. I can, I've been on 18 different flights this year. I do travel a bit, and I've created a lifestyle for myself that I want to be able to duplicate with other people and help them to create financial freedom. It's not about making money and being greedy. It's about creating financial freedom to supply to supply a lifestyle for your family and loved ones, to give back to the community, to leave a legacy. But not just financial abundance. Wealth isn't, and riches aren't just financial, but also with your relationships. You can't get excited by relationships, and what's the point? I'm quite a romantic person. I love surprising my partner with different surprises. Just last week I had a massive bunch of flowers, a ridiculously huge bunch of flowers. For no reason, I sent them to a workplace because I wanted her to have an amazing day and a special day. So what excites you about your life? In your own time, I want you to write the 5 things that excite you most about your life or your business. Here what we want to do is we want to celebrate and reward, and we're going to finish up in a few minutes. We're wrapping it up now. This is the last page. Celebrate and reward. When was the last time that you went on a holiday? When was the last time that, if you have kids, that you had a date night? When was the last time you celebrated and rewarded yourself? Because in the context of business, we have a business to create a lifestyle for ourselves, but we get so caught up in the logistics of running a business that, for myself, last year I burnt out. I spent 2 weeks on the couch, 16 I was fat and 118 kilos. And I followed these strategies, and I lost a kilo a week for 6 months using these strategies. And some of you might have seen before and after photos that I posted earlier this year. And it happens to the best of us, and I use those learnings to inspire others and help other people so that they don't have to go through it. And if they have gone through it, to help them through that. So my question to you is, what are you doing to celebrate and reward? So what I like to do, let's say, for example, somebody wants to achieve a financial goal or a weight loss goal, or a weight goal rather. I set micro and macro cycles. For example, I'm working with a lady at the moment that wants to achieve a certain weight in 5 months. And we set a monthly target for each of those months leading up to the 5 months. If she achieves that target each month, then she has a micro reward. She's got pedicures, manicures, massage, day spa stuff, all that kind of stuff. If she doesn't achieve it, she doesn't get to reward herself. If she does, then she gets to reward herself. But get this, on the 5th month, she's booked a trip for her and her partner to Hawaii for a week. If she achieves her ultimate goal within 5 months. If she does not, she's got to give those tickets away to somebody. Now, if that doesn't motivate you and give you an incentive, I don't know what does. So if you haven't had a holiday for a couple of years and you're on a business, when's now a good time to take a holiday? Because if you're on a plane and the plane's about to take off, and the stewardesses go through, the cabin crew rather, go through the safety procedures, what's the first thing they tell you to do when the oxygen mask drops? So put your own oxygen mask on before you help anyone else. Because if you don't, and you don't make it to the next person, say it's a child, then you and the child will pass. So sometimes in order to help others, we need to help ourselves. Okay? Your own health, your own energy levels are absolutely critical. If you can't get excited about your life and your business and your relationship, what can you do to get excited? Or do we need to change that? Okay, so reward yourself. Set some rewards, set some targets, and celebrate those wins. Okay? Remember your why, remember what drives you. In your own time, now, I'm going to get you to write your 5 biggest life dreams. Now, whatever those 5 biggest life dreams are, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100 rather, most people I speak to haven't got a plan yet to make those happen. Right now, think about if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? If you could go anywhere in the world right now, nothing was stopping you. Not money, not time, no one. Nothing was stopping you. Where would you go? And why have you not booked it? What do you need to do to book it? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. Well, if you begin to apply the strategies that we've gone through tonight, then you can find the time. You can create the time. And that brings us to the next part, which is creating enough passive income to never have to work again. Even if you don't have a business, you can be an employee. You can have a job, and you can create other streams of income. And this is something that we specialize in as well. What are your living expenses? $800 to $1,000 a week? $800 to $1,000 a week, right? So if I was to say to you, if in 6 months' time, if we were to work together, that I'll give you a money back guarantee if you stick to everything, that you would be generating enough passive income, PT, non-fitness business, or anything between, even if you're an employee or a home business, what would that mean for you? What would that mean for your family? What would that mean for your lifestyle? How cool would that be? $800 to $1,000 a week passive income is not much. For you to never have to work again, how cool would that be? I want you to think about that. I'm hoping now that I can invite you to begin to think about your hopes and dreams, to think about the lifestyle that you want, you desire, you deserve, and you want to give to your family. I know you have a family, but a big part of why I'm doing this is because when I do have a family, that I want to be able to see the first step of my children. I want to be able to hear the first word. I want to be able to give back to the community. I want to be able to make a difference. I want to be able to do that because I didn't have much growing up, and I want to be able to ensure that I can assist as many people as possible so they don't have to go through the same. And if they did, to help them realize that no matter what you've been through or what you've done, that you can achieve anything no matter where you've come from. My personal mission is to assist a million people on this planet before I pass in that very manner, in that very way. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But if I help 250,000 people do that, it really is that a bad life? I think that's pretty fulfilling life. So the 3 steps of passive income are leveraging an income stream, automating the income stream, and creating uncapped earnings. And if you're a PT watching this, then I do have I'll post it actually in the event. I did a webinar, Creating Our Passive Income, Never Have to Work Again, which I think you PTs or fitness business owners will love. And it talks about those 3 strategies. Even if you're not a PT or not in the fitness industry, then there's definitely strategies you can use for that, for home business, or even if you have a full-time job, or if you're a mum or a parent. Okay. One last thing, I just want to, before we go through everything, I just want to finish up with firing your yes anchor. Before we do though, let's just go through and finish up with all of your mental vitamins. So the first mental vitamin is vitamin A. Being aware of what you want, where you want to be, backtrack from there, set smaller goals along the way, implement specific strategies to achieve them, track and monitor it, have somebody keep you accountable. Then mental vitamins, get your psychology in alignment. Vitamin B is have the belief. You need congruent beliefs, values, and habits. PT are those. What beliefs do you have? What beliefs do you need? Bridge the gap. Work with you to create specific strategies to make that happen. Vitamin C is having the courage, overcoming your fears with gratitude and clarity. No matter how you feel, fire that yes anchor anyway. Use these strategies we've gone through tonight. Take the next step and act anyway regardless of how you feel. Vitamin D is having the discipline to create positioning for yourself, to have the accountability, to have someone keep you accountable to the plan and the A, B, C vitamins, and then track everything. So if things aren't going to plan, then we can make sure it happens. And then vitamin E, get excited. Remind yourself every morning, what are you excited about? Don't just roll out of bed going, oh my God, it's freaking Monday. Jump out of bed like your bed's on fire. Give it a go. You know, nothing like jumping in the shower, cranking the music, and singing, dancing first thing in the morning. I'm definitely a morning person. Some people might not be a morning person. But remember to fire that yes anchor. Let's do it one more time before we finish up. So as you sit there, just take a big deep breath in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Deeper this time. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Once more, you're going to breathe in as far as you can, all the way until there's nothing left. And when you breathe out, you're going to scream yes as loud as you can in the mind's eye. Ready? Go. Once more, breathe in. Louder this time. Breathe out. Go. Once more, breathe in as deep as you can. And louder, loud as you can. Go. Once more. Beautiful. And as you come back, I just want to take this opportunity to say thanks very much for joining us. I know it's late. I know it's late, especially in Sydney and Melbourne. I know that there's a couple of people from New Zealand listening in as well. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you have any information about anything we've gone through, please send me a message on Facebook. I'll post some further information and also a free consult in any way, shape, or form that you want on the event. We will be having many more webinars like this, health, fitness, nutrition, also psychology, and also on business over the upcoming months. And I just want to remember that what are your hopes and dreams? You can make them a reality. What do you need to do to make them a reality? Become aware of your self-talk. Become aware of what you're thinking. And remember, what you think determines how you feel. What you feel determines how you act. How you act determines your outcomes. Your outcomes determine your beliefs and your values. Again, thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you one-on-one very soon.